What is this thing that I've been invited to? Welcome to the lettuce bin. Hey, everybody, it is 2 hours UTC, and it is again time for Astronomy Daily Live. Every single day, 2 hours UTC, I and a growing, hopefully, circle of friends comes together and we sit down in our virtual room or outdoor porch. We grab our favorite our favorite beverage or other consumable, whatever that may be. I have coffee tonight, and as you saw, I have this is dihydrogen oxide tonight. This is the potent stuff. This is the H2O. So yeah, living the high life a little bit tonight. Cheers. So hope everybody's doing well today. Coming together in a circle of friends to talk about and share a passion for the science of astronomy. And astronomy is really awesome because it's about everything. It's about everything, and it's sort of the study of and getting to know the nitty gritty parts, and you know um, gaining gaining a greater understanding of you know where are we, who are we, what are we doing here, uh, what's it all about? Uh, you know, um, Scientists are, I think, inherently inquisitive, and and so we want to sort of get to the bottoms of things, and have some kind of an understanding of some sort, maybe a little tiny bit of comfort uh, in knowing something. Um, and actually, what we're going to be talking about tonight is um, going to maybe change your perspective a little bit, um, make you think outside of the box just a wee bit. I think that's really important for all of us to do is to try to get outside of our boxes. And every single one of us is in a box. And maybe it's a different size box, but we're all in a box. And what that implies is that there's a certain amount of things that we can sort of see and experience, and then there's this barrier that just doesn't allow us to see beyond the edge of the box, regardless of how big the box is. Um, you know, but we can work on things. We can work on maybe the transparency of the box, maybe start seeing outside of the box, whatever. Anyway, this is a daily live stream, a gathering of friends to talk about the passion that we have for astronomy, and it's just casual fun. Um, Nothing too serious here at all. Although we can definitely do some deep dives and get into some serious um, uh, um, uh, um, content, but but yeah, we just sort of follow our noses here and go wherever we like. The conversation most definitely can and maybe should be directed by people in the group, but this is still a relatively small group. So I've been doing most of the talking lately, but we've got some great people, regulars who come in, and as I said, I think over time this is going to grow and grow and grow. One of the cool things about a daily live stream is that no one should really feel obligated, to have to come in every single day. If you want to come in once a week, a couple times a week, once a month, whatever it is, come on in. You're welcome. And if you're new, come on in. If you're like an amateur, come on in. If you're a pro, want to talk about the work you're doing, or one of your papers that just got published, you will have the floor. This is not an interview type of a thing. You can just sit and talk. Now there will probably be questions, but let's just talk about astronomy. Let's just relax, have fun, enjoy. So what I wanted to do first was give a quick update on my project to parameterize this thing behind me here. This is a Celestron Nexstar 8 SE. It's a 0.2 meter telescope, aka an 8-inch telescope. I have a S-Big ST7ME CCD camera, and I am characterizing it in terms of seeing how well the system works to do both astrometry, which is the measurements of the positions of targets in the sky, and also photometry. And I've gotten to a point finally that I can sort of draw some preliminary conclusions based on basically one data set, one night's worth of data. And that's a pretty small data set. But working through it, I think I've come to some conclusions. It's sort of mixed in terms of how happy I am with those conclusions, but really I need to look at more data. That's what scientists always say, and it's not that we're just wanting more work. it's just that usually what we have just isn't quite enough. It isn't quite good enough, and it's only sort of one sample. So we need to look at lots of samples, get a good idea of what we're dealing with. But I can say, and I'm writing this out in a report, which I probably won't publish per se. It's sort of just for my own internal knowledge, because what I'm doing is moderately complicated, and I want to be able to remember everything that I'm doing, and also be able to review it from time to time to just make sure that it's like, okay, am I doing this exactly right? Am I looking at these things in the right kinds of ways and all of that? So I've more or less I've got a little bit left. I finally sort of have my procedure down, how I want to reduce the data, how I want to do the analysis of that data. And things look pretty good. But yeah, I need, I've basically, finished all the software to um, uh, um, to do the analysis. Now I just need to sort of run some data through the grinder. I need some grist for the mill, and I've got I've got some grist back from the evening of the 15th of March, and I have a lot more data from, I think it was the evening of the 29th of March, so like about a week ago. And Tom, um, if if I didn't have to um, um, remove the camera from this scope in order to sort of move things around, then I wouldn't have to take flats every single time I have a session. But because things change every single time, take the camera off, even if I try, to carefully put it back exactly how it was last time, it's not going to be exact. So I need to take flats every single time I have a session, at least. I've had cloudy nights here for at about the past week or so. Just these high, thin clouds, very annoying, but bad enough that there's absolutely no point in doing um, um, any kind of session. So therefore, I'm not having to take any flats. So and at this point, probably what I'm going to say right now is that the next, at least the next one clear night, I will do another session because I want more data just to be able to sample. Um, but I really have quite a bit of data from the evening of the 29th that I still have to reduce. I haven't even looked at any of it yet. So I mean, I did a glance, just to make sure, that it was all there. But my calibration data for that night, the flats and darks and the biases are really, really good, are really, really, really nice. I knew that when I took them, and I know that they're going to be really, really nice. It just depends on what the seeing conditions were that night, and they were definitely different than what they were on the evening of the 15th. I don't know if I can characterize them as better or worse yet. I'm going to have to look at the data to find out. But yeah, so I'm pretty encouraged. I'm seeing some pretty good results. I'm not going to spill the beans quite yet um, on what the results are, um, but yeah, they're looking pretty good, pretty good. So, cheers. Yeah, so if I uh, kept the camera attached to the scope, then I wouldn't necessarily have to take flats every session. But even then, might, I might, I, yeah. But it wouldn't be quite as urgent uh, as it is now, where I just have to do it. And yeah, so what I thought I would do tonight. Last night we were talking about a sort of a close conjunction of Mars and Saturn and the Moon that is actually going to happen. Um, I think the closest approach it said was at 1600 hours on the 7th of April. So for me, I'm in southeastern Arizona. I'm on Mountain Standard Time, which puts me 7 hours behind UTC. So 16 hours UTC would be 9 a.m. my time. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to see it at that time. So the optimal time um, for me to see this conjunction is tomorrow morning, before the sun rises. And yesterday, I sort of, you know, um, drew a cartoon of where I sort of thought the Earth and the Moon and the Sun and Mars and Saturn was. I was relatively accurate. But right after the show, I got onto Stellarium, which is a free planetarium like piece of software. Um, it's one of many. In fact, let me share. I'll start sharing my screen here because I wanted to do a little ad for both Stellarium and uh, the other one, Space Engine. So here's Stellarium. It's free, open source, runs on Linux, Mac, and Windows, and it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I am a novice user in terms of Stellarium. I know that it can operate telescopes. There's just lots and lots and lots of things it can do. I have just scratched the surface on that. I wanted to give a shout out though to Space Engine as well. That's this I believe is also. I know it's free. I don't know if it's open source. Um, I don't know much about Space Engine except for the fact that Skylius uses it on her Twitch show. So as she's talking, she sort of wanders through the universe, showing various things. Um, I don't know if this is open source. If it isn't, that is a negative for sure. Um, I'm What I do see as a negative, and this is just a bias sort of on my part, but it looks like it's only for Windows. I maybe for Mac, but I haven't seen anything Mac, and I haven't seen any Linux either. So that's a pretty big negative in my book. Even if it's really awesome, um, in my very extremely biased opinion, if it doesn't run under Linux, then I'm probably gonna pass. So, but Skylius likes it, and so I'm definitely going to show it off here. Check it out. I am definitely going to probably, having said that I'm sort of turned off because it's only Windows. Okay, Tom, thanks. Um, I'll probably try, to download it. Yeah, I've got a because it's talking about, it can run on Windows XP. I've got a couple of Windows XP machines still. I definitely have Windows 7. That's actually what this laptop is running. I should run my live stream over on my smartphone here, so I can monitor the procedures. There we go. Make sure I'm live. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'll probably install it and play around with it a little bit. I'm uh, I'm not I don't get too impressed with you know pretty graphics and all of that. And again, that's just my bias, and I know it's a bias. I'm interested in the information and in the data, and not necessarily what what exoplanets look like, because we just don't don't have any information on that. And the information that we do have, the error bars in those measurements are so absolutely huge that they can sort of be everything, everything. So yeah, and it does take some pretty intense hardware to run all those things. So yeah, I will definitely check Space Engine out and give it a run through. But I've been running or using Stellarium for several years. Just as I said, just as a very 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 casual user. So don't know a lot of the details about it or anything else, but um, uh, yeah, it takes Space Engine apparently takes a lot of processing. So yeah, in order to create the pretty graphics, yeah, you have to have a rendering engine that is going to be able to handle that kind of bandwidth. And me, I guess I'm more of a simplistic type. I just I want the positions of the stars and I want the positions of the planets, and I want to be able to move forward and backward in time, change perspectives, all of that. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because I made this screenshot last night and posted it on my Discord server, which you can find a link to down in the description. Cheers. And this is the actual geometry of the planets out to Saturn. As you can see, the date here, this is my local time, right? So April 7th, 9 a.m. So this is where, in relation to the sun, at least, where Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are going to be at that time. So of course we're sitting on Earth here. So I just wanted to present this and sort of give um, those of you who may not have ever really thought about our position. Um, where are we? And you know, uh, so it's things that most people don't really think about. But as an astronomer, I think about this all the time, and it just blows me away. Makes me a little dizzy. Makes me a little dizzy. Um, so we're sitting here on the surface of the Earth. If we look directly at the sun, which I don't recommend, but direction, at least of the sun, okay, to our left, right? This is left, which would be to our east, right? We will see Venus, okay? So the Earth, all all the planets are going around the sun counterclockwise. So it's as if we are looking at the solar system from above, okay? And all the planets, more or less, orbit the Earth in the same plane, right? So it's sort of like, you take a flat plate, okay? All all the planets go around the sun on that plate. Now it's not exactly, they're each planet has a little bit of um, inclination um, to that flat plate. but more or less, all the planets um, are moving on that flat plate. So we're looking at this from above, right? So you can sort of imagine, that the sun is sort of um, in the center of that plate, and then all the planets are moving around it counterclockwise. Okay. Now, at the same time that the planets are moving around counterclockwise, most of the planets are rotating on their axes counterclockwise as well. Now, Venus doesn't. Venus goes the other way. It's going clockwise. Um, Uranus, which isn't on this plot, is tilted such that it's almost sort of rolling along its orbit, right? But we're not going to talk about Uranus because this was mainly just to sort of show this alignment here. And then I thought, yeah, let's expand on this a little bit and go into where are we, right? Where are we? So as the Earth spins this way, okay, so imagine yourself on the surface of the Earth spinning counterclockwise, okay? So if you're over here, if you're on the other side of the sun, okay, standing on the Earth, but you're on the opposite side from where the sun is, you're in nighttime, right? You're at midnight or sometime during the night, okay? And so if you were to look, say, uh, exactly opposite from where the sun is, you'd be looking out this way, right? If you look to your right, you'd be looking this way. Yeah. If you look to your left, you'd be looking this way. So if you look to your horizon, to your right, you will see this half of the sky, right? This whole, you'll look all the way out this way and all the way out that way, and you'll see this whole half of the sky. So as the Earth rotates, right, you're going to change your perspective, and eventually you're going to see the sun rising, and then as the Earth rotates around, you're going to see it setting. And if you look towards the sun at sunset, right, and then look to the east, look to your left, you will see a bright so called star, which is the planet Venus, right? And it'll be east of the sun, it'll be to the left of the sun, just like it shows in the diagram. Amazing. So, as you can see, if you look towards the sun, Mercury, whoop, come here. Mercury has just moved sort of right in between the Earth and the sun. And that's what they call inferior conjunction. There's only two planets that can have an inferior conjunction because there's only two planets that go around the sun inside of the orbit of the Earth, Mercury and Venus, right? So when Venus is between Earth and the sun, it'll also be at inferior conjunction. There's also superior conjunction, uh, which is exactly what the name implies. Yeah. So as you can see, what's happening tomorrow morning, right, is if you look towards Mars, you will also see, if you can draw a straight line, you'll also see that these three planets all line up: Saturn, Mars, and Earth. So us standing on Earth, staring at Mars, we'll also see Saturn in the same area, right? Now, this solar system, of course, is to scale, right? So we can't really see the moon here going around the Earth. It's too close and too small. But if we were to zoom in, which I didn't make a graphic to do that, but if we were to zoom in, we would see that the moon is indeed on this side of the Earth, right? This side of the Earth. It's orbiting the Earth also counterclockwise. So it's getting more and more towards new moon, right? New moon is when the moon is between the Earth and the sun, right? So it's right about here now, and it's going around this way. But if I sort of put a fake moon there, that's about where it is, at least in terms of in relation to the Earth, right? We'll see that the Earth and the Moon and the Mars and Saturn all more or less line up, and so that's what's called a conjunction. When two or more celestial objects line up like that. So it's not it's not an incredibly rare event. These kinds of things happen relatively often, but it's pretty cool. And it's also, kind of cool to think about, you know, when you go out tomorrow morning, you can sort of imagine this picture in your head, right? And you can be like, oh, okay, here I am. Here's Mars way over here, and Saturn is way out here. How many times? See, that's like one, two, three, four, five, six, maybe 6.5 or 7 times the distance between Earth and Mars. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So when the Earth is between, say, Mars and the Sun, we have what's called um, opposition. So Mars is completely opposite the Sun. And since, as you can see, the Earth is rotating this way, Mars is also rotating this way, but it's going slower. So Earth is actually going to catch up to Mars, and we're going to have a opposition of Mars. I don't remember when that happens. It's going to just be in a couple months or so. Jupiter is going to do exactly the same thing. You can see that Jupiter's here, also showing some of the orbits of its moons, right? But the Earth is also going around the sun faster than Jupiter, so it's going to be between Jupiter and the sun relatively soon as well. And so Jupiter is going to be at opposition very, very soon. I think in the next month or so. I think it's sometime in May. I think Mars happens maybe June. I don't remember exactly. And then Saturn's going to be at opposition as well. I think also in June or July, something like that. I have to look those up to find out exactly. But yeah, if you get a chance to get up early tomorrow morning and it's clear, you can go out, look for the moon. That's an easy one to find because it's big and bright. And right next door, just a couple degrees away, is going to be Mars and Saturn. And so you can think about this geometry here. Now, it looks like what I did last night is I put Earth sort of on the other side of the sun. It looks like all the planets that are part of this alignment are on the same side as the sun. In fact, interestingly enough, look, I don't know where Uranus and Neptune are, but at least as far as the planets that we're seeing here, look, Mercury, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are all on sort of this side of the sun. And Venus is the only one that is on the other side of the sun. So that's pretty cool. Mercury, by the way, is going to be entering the morning sky here soon. We should be able to see it in the next, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks or so, I would say. Anyway, I just, I think viewing things from this perspective is interesting and eye-opening and dizzying sometimes to sort of gain an understanding of where are we, and how are we moving in relation to the other planets, and Stellarium at least is one of the pieces of software that can run on your machine and show you this. What's cool, and I can't show you this on here because this is just a still shot, but you can change the time, right? You can go forward in time, backward in time, all of that, and you can actually watch the planets go around the sun and move in relation to one another, and that is very, very cool to watch as well. So encourage you to do that. I think for now I am going to stop sharing, and as I said, I think I'm going to I'm gonna, I'm always trying to find ways to improve this live stream. And so one of the experiments that I'm doing right now is I'm going a little shorter. I'm not going to be doing the hour plus live stream every single day. I'm going to limit it to 30 to 45 minutes or so. Basically, keep it to a single topic. Um, and you know we'll definitely keep the casual fun, um, uh, uh, easygoing kind of a format, but I'm gonna do a little experiment here and do a little bit shorter um, live streams, see how that goes for a, a little while. As I've said many times, I can do this for hours and hours and hours. That's no problem at all. But I definitely want to try, to make improvements. And one of the analytics that I've seen on this live stream, and I've also heard about, is that the average watch time is like around 25 minutes or so. So, if I'm going an hour 15, hour and a half, uh, I know that some of you um, will stick with it the entire time, and I think that's great. I think that's very, very awesome. But I respect your time greatly, and greatly appreciate the time that you spend here with me, and um, the feeling is mutual, and so yeah, I think I'm going to shorten it for a little while, see how that goes. Um, uh, yeah, it's just an experiment, trying to make things better, and keep the content maybe a little bit more focused on single topic, as opposed to maybe 2 or 3 topics at a time. Just do one topic, maybe 1.5 topics or so each day. We'll see how that goes. See if you like it. See if it draws maybe a larger crowd. People see that these things aren't an hour or 20 minutes, but it's only 40 minutes or 30 minutes or so. All right, so I'm going to get out of here for now. I'm going to take a look at more of my data, finish up my report. I'll definitely be sharing the results of this project with you, hopefully pretty soon or so. This weekend, I'm going to run through more of the data I have and see what that shows me. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully, I'm going to see things that I want to see. So, but regardless of what I see, that you know, uh, those will be the results I have, and that's what I will have um, um, to work with. As I said, it looks pretty promising, so I'm pretty excited about this project that I really want to get going on. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. This weekend, I think, will be the telling of the tale. So until next time, thanks for stopping into the lettuce bin. I love that. I love that. Fraser Kane, he came into my server and said, "What is this thing I've been invited to?" And Uncle Bill says, "Welcome to the lettuce bin." I think that's awesome. I think that's very, very awesome. It conjures up all kinds of interesting images in my head. The lettuce bin. So yeah, I think that's pretty funny. Um, uh, um, I hope that Frasier gets that. I certainly do. Uncle Bill, you're awesome. You're awesome. All right. I'm going to get out of here for now. Thanks. Cheers. Peace. I will see you on the spin a little more than 23 hours from now. All right. Take care. Don't get dizzy. Don't get dizzy. We're okay. It's a smooth ride. We've been doing it for a long time. We're used to it, right? But yeah, if you get a chance, take a look at that conjunction tomorrow morning. Should look cool. I might be cloudy, but I'll give it a try anyway. And then I'm going to think about where Mars is and Saturn even further out is. I think it's just totally cool. Totally cool. All right. For now, peace, cheers, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.